Record started. Welcome to Tribal Council, everyone. I'm now going to bring in our two members of the jury, Rogers and Laura. If you're here, please turn on your cameras. Keep yourself muted. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. You guys know the flow of this is I will ask questions, we'll chat for a bit, and then it will be time to vote. So, Lindsay, I'm going to start with you. We had yesterday off because of the Survivor finale. Did the 2 days off complicate things, or was it nice for people to take the day off, or were there no days off amongst everyone?
I think it was nice to take the day off, but I think that maybe it caused for a little bit of a scramble, if you will, on the day of. But I think that a lot of people were just really into watching the Survivor finale last night, and it was nice to be able to enjoy that with everybody for a little bit.
Sure. So, Ashley, I want to talk about the challenge that we had. This challenge was kind of about laying some things out there, what you think about your fellow competitors, what do you think the other competitors think about you or your fellow tribe mates? How did you feel about the challenge? Did it stir some things up?
Yeah, I think it was interesting to kind of see like what people thought, the general consensus. I, for one, I don't think I got anything accurate. So that showed how much I knew. Yeah, I think it was like kind of insightful, but I don't know if it necessarily dictated anything.
So I'll ask Cody, was there, with this challenge, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, you want to win immunity. Of course you want to win immunity, but if you win immunity, you might be the person who's most accurately guessing what people think about you. And that's maybe showing your fellow competitors that you're clued into the game more than they might think you are. Was there strategy involved in A, how you submitted the questionnaire, and B, how you played the challenge? You're muted, my friend.
So you couldn't even hear me lead the singing. Terrible. Okay. So yeah, there's strategy in both for sure. I think I wanted to win it no matter what. That would have been the best strategy, and Myers did that well. Also, I think that you could play the game where you want to win certain categories and make people think those things about you. So there's strategy on one side of not wanting to win any of it, and strategy on another side of wanting to win it. And I think if you're good at the game, you'll use the spots that you fall into.
So Ben, kind of off that, you actually had the most correct out of everyone, and yet you did not win. What happened there? Was it just poor judgment calls on whose books to knock down, or were you just not wanting to be kind of in the limelight, or what happened for you?
It was option C, a flaw in the design of the game. No, but seriously. I made a couple of bonehead book moves, like the very first one where I knocked down Dylan's book and he still had a knock, and so he didn't obviously tit for tat, and I just wasn't thinking about it at all. But I don't know. It felt good that I had a read on people's perceptions, I guess, and it would have felt nicer had I walked away with the necklace.
So, Maddie, I want to ask you, you were voted or people chose to vote for you as most in over their head for this game. How did you feel seeing that? Did that make you feel like maybe you have people conned, or maybe lit a fire under your butt, or kind of what did it feel when it revealed that your contestants think that of you?
No, it definitely gave me more motivation to want to prove that I'm valuable in the game, because I don't want people to think that. But then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, all right, people think that about me. That's okay. I'm just going to play the best game I can and the best game I know how, using my strengths, and that's all I can do.
So, Mary, off of that, you were voted for most likable. How did you feel getting that? Because that can also feel like a huge target on your back of oh, people like me. I was doing a good job of getting to know people, but now everyone knows that I'm likable.
Right. It was very nice to get voted that and that everybody thought that. And I am desperate to be liked, so that obviously feels good. But yeah, it does put a target on your back, and I think that superlative game is just so sneaky, because you stir the pot by getting us all to, we have to say somebody, you know what I mean? Like you don't escape any of those questions. You have to say somebody, and people are going to feel like, wait a minute, is that what you think about me? And oh, she's likable, she shouldn't go. But it doesn't mean anybody else is not likable. It's just, you sort of stir the pot in that way.
So Dylan, I want to ask you, you were the first voted out, and you also, like Myers, were, nominated or won these categories that have negative connotations, right? Most competitive, most likely to stab you in the back, most lies, all that. But the interesting thing to me is that you were the first knocked out and Myers won this challenge, and yet you were both nominated for the same things. Can you kind of speak to that?
I guess I'm doing something wrong, apparently. No, I mean, I think the one tough thing about this game is we're only interacting through Slack, right? And it's a lot of he said, she said, what gets through the grapevine. And so it's very hard sometimes to truly understand, like, or a persona can be built up. And yeah, I'm not an angel. Like, I don't think anyone in this game is an angel. And, I also think too, I have like a harder time, like I'm a very private person by nature. And so that can be seen as like, oh, he's scheming, he's being disingenuous. So, that's something I've learned as this game has gone on, is like, oh, I perceive myself one way, but how others might perceive me because of like my nature. So I think it's been a very good learning experience. So yeah.
So Brittany, I want to ask you, you seemed pretty frustrated during the challenge yesterday. Was that just regular frustrations, or was it for what you were nominated for or other people nominated for, or what kind of, walk me through that?
I don't try to visibly be frustrated, because I don't have I have a hard time like not showing my emotions sometimes. But I was frustrated because I like made a play to do something and I didn't have the right information. So I was just really upset about that. But I don't I wasn't upset about what I had won, because I knew that I was going to be the one that was most on Slack anyway. So I voted for myself, because everyone else in this game has people in their house and they have things to do, and I live alone and I only have work. So this is like an outlet for me. So do I try and talk like on Slack? Yeah, I do. And I even like limit myself, but it's only because I literally have nothing else to do. So I just want to try and talk to other people. And then like most intelligent, I just kind of laughed about it, because like I don't really think I'm that smart of a person, but if that's what they want to think, then cool.
So Kat, I want to ask you, you didn't win outright any of the categories, but also you were one of the final people, and you chose to knock out Mary, who's previously from your Pandara tribe and your original tribe. What went into that decision making, essentially putting the choice on Mary to decide between you and Myers, especially when Myers had just won, like, person who thinks he's running the game?
Yeah, I didn't want to be seen as going against or going for someone specifically. I didn't want Myers to feel like I was out for blood against him. I don't feel that way. I knew that like Mary and I have opportunities to work on our relationship and try to develop a closer relationship. I knew that like she wouldn't think of me as getting her out of the challenge because I think of her as someone I want to vote for. So I felt like I didn't want anyone to think that I was like targeting them for any reason, because I don't want to do that. So I went with her as the lesser of two really tough choices. And I felt terrible about it after, and it sucked. The whole challenge that whole decision was really, really hard and uncomfortable.
So Myers, of course, I want to talk with you. You won this challenge, but you also were, Cody, that's so distracting. But you also were voted for some of the, again, like the negative connotation categories or whatever. Did you expect to win this challenge, seeing as we were going on what you were being nominated for?
Well, I want to say something about winning this challenge. We all know that it was decided by Mary. So a win in this category is not to be chalked up to anything that I've done, I think. I will say that the categories that I meddled in were thinks running the game, most likely to lie, most strategic. I don't think I was surprised by any of them, but I was surprised that I was a little stung by them. And I have been going about the game differently over the next 2 days. There's not $1 million at the end. I said a few tribals ago, I want to have fun and slow down. So I've been trying to do that.
So I want to ask you, you basically said Mary decided this challenge, that you didn't, but you then chose to take her as part of your reward. So
yeah.
So
I wanted to thank Mary, and I thought it was going to be as simple as that. And then you said, bring someone else, which I should have seen coming a mile away. That complicated things, but I chose the person that I feel like I talk to the least on Slack, and the person that I wanted to thank. And I think I have a lot in common with outside of the game.
Okay, so Lindsay, I want to ask you, when Myers chose Mary and Cody, those are both original Coratonga members. How did you feel when you saw that?
I mean, I think it made sense to me because everybody else really kind of was with Myers in the beginning. Like Myers didn't really have a chance to get to know Mary and Cody. So that was an opportunity for him to just feel out more people. So I think it made sense because otherwise, like, he can just message anybody else on Slack that he already has been able to form deeper relationships with.
Sure. Okay. So something I also want to talk about is, with these 2 days that went by, paranoia can ramp up. So Kat, I want to ask you, for paranoia, when people are experiencing that, can that help your game, or is it super hurtful to your game, or like, is it protecting you, hurting you? What do you feel about paranoia?
As a highly anxious person in general, paranoia is not my favorite thing. But it's like a huge part of this game. I think sometimes it propels you forward to make big moves. Sometimes it propels you forward into getting voted out. I think that especially today, a lot of paranoia has set in for people, and it's been a really difficult day overall. I think everyone can attest to that. And it's really just, paranoia is just making everyone have distrust amongst everybody. It's really, it really has disrupted the game.
So Cody, I want to ask about that. Like, how hard is it, you saw your name written down twice last tribal. How hard was it for you to then shake that off and not feel defensive or want to root out who put my name down, and get so consumed with that as opposed to moving forward?
Sure. I'm going to go back to an answer that I had before because I think that it makes sense still, is that there are multiple strengths in this game. I think that the social part of this game is very important and that we focus on challenges a lot, but we're playing the social part all the time. We're playing the physical challenge parts sometimes. So I'm going to go hard in those. I just like to. That's where I think I can kind of bring something to the table. And I think that feels like a threat, but I look at it and say we all have to go back to Slack. We all have to go back to relationships, figure out what our game is and where we want to be. And I think that we sit here now and try to make sure we're putting all those things together at one time.
So, Brittany, I want to ask you, it very much seems like I have no one's attention tonight, and I imagine it's because big things are happening. Did the game change on a dime today? Did it turn? Did something happen?
Yeah, I think it did. I think that we had our days off, and I think we took really good care of ourselves on our day off, and I don't really think anyone really talked a lot. And then I think that there's a plan in place, and sometimes maybe something slips out that you don't know if it's supposed to, and then you're kind of trying to figure out what to do, and then you're like, I have 5 minutes to log on.
So Ben, how disruptive is it, or how much does it quickly change when it changes? Does it change 90%, or does it just change a small little bit, like shift off one to another person, or is it everyone scrambling, everyone trying to figure out new plans?
Kelsey, have you ever gone to Disneyland and then
Oh my God, Ben, no metaphors.
and then spent the entire day on the teacups?
No.
That's kind of how the afternoon felt. And we were whirling around so fast that it was almost impossible to tell who was sitting in your little teacup and who was in the teacup next to you. And we were all trying to figure out, when is this going to stop? Will it ever stop? And who is in the little booth of your ride with you? And I mean, maybe for other people, they got off the ride, but I think the ride is still going on.
So my first response to that is, if you're spending the whole day on the damn teacups ride, you're doing Disneyland wrong. But I do appreciate the metaphor. So Dylan, something that Ben said is like the decision could maybe not be over until I say it's time to vote. Does it feel that way? Like, we could really change up until that last second.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always interesting, right? Because when a scramble starts to happen, things are shooting by and you're not sure who's saying what to who, what exactly is going on. And so you're just trying to get a sense of who's willing to do what. And so I think it's very interesting that we've kind of ended up in this situation. I think people probably didn't think starting the day it would be so last minute about what exactly was going to happen, but I think that's the Survivor game.
So Mary, I want to ask about that because, we're down to 10 people, right? And we are getting closer to that final tribal council. And to win, you need moves on your resume. And some people could argue that there haven't been huge moves thus far into the game. Is that something you're starting to think about? The resume, if you will?
No, because I'm truly just, how do I get from one vote to the next? I haven't started thinking about that big picture thing. And I honestly think that the whole resume thing and who conducted what move, I think is a little, it's not entirely factual, because it takes multiple people to decide on a move, off a move. So I think that resume building thing is just a dangerous narrative to try to incorporate into your game. So yeah, if you're just thinking I need to make a big move, then you're not thinking clearly.
So,
I think. But also, I will say this, that, okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to add that because the numbers have dwindled, the big moves are going to happen. Like we're no longer just getting to know each other. Like we're fully in it. So any move that happens will be a big move at this point.
I can tell that Kat is still typing, but cutting it off, it's time to vote unless anyone has anything else they would like to add. So with that, Maddie, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Mary, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Cody, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Ben, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Dylan, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Lindsay, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Kat, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Myers, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Brittany, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Ashley, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Okay, I'm going to count the votes. Okay, if anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you'd like to play it, now would be the time. My dad said I have to give 5 seconds. Brittany?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So I really didn't want to have to do this, but I tried really hard to feel more confident in how this vote was going to go, but I still don't. And I would rather be safe than sorry. So I'm going to show this to you again.
Well, you got to turn off the background. I can't see anything with it on. Okay, let me see.
Hold on. Can you get it? Oh, it went off.
That is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast for Brittany will not count. Anyone else? Okay. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person will be asked to leave the tribal council immediately. Hi, Mary.
Chelsea. Hi.
Hi. How can I help you?
Hi. How can you help me? How can you help me? Well, I'll tell ya. I don't think you can this time. I don't think you can. Yes, you can. I'm playing this for Cody. I'm playing this for Cody.
That is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes for Cody will not count. Is there anyone else that wants to join the party before I get this going? No. Okay, everyone, please pull out your phones, turn your lights on.
Wait, Cal.
I literally just said, does anyone else? You didn't say shit. No. No, you didn't make it in time.
I had to get it.
Okay, that is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes for Dylan will not count. Everyone have their phone lights out.
I'm on my phone. Can I just have a candle, a light?
You do whatever you got, girl. Okay. Here we go. First vote, Cody, does not count. Second vote, Cody, does not count. Third vote, Cody, does not count. Fourth vote, Cody, does not count. Fifth vote, Cody, does not count. Sixth vote, Cody, does not count. Seventh vote, Ben. That's one vote, Ben. Eighth vote, Ben. That's 2 votes, Ben. Third vote, Ben. That's 3 votes, Ben. Next person voted out, and the third person of our jury, Ben. Ben, do you have anything you would like to say?
Oh, I get it's a game, but this one hurts. This one hurts. I put my trust in a lot of people, and I was very honest in the game. And I get that it's a game, but I'm going to say how I feel at this moment, that being voted best alliance member and being honest to all those people in the alliance and to people outside my alliance throughout, to only get burned this way. Y'all are some good Survivor players, but you know, there are a bunch of people out there, and if you're saying you're playing with integrity, there are only a couple people out there that actually are. And I'm going to make sure that everybody in the jury, and I know it's not about that, but there's a way to go about your misleading. Anyway,
Ben, unfortunately,
it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and I will have no hard feelings tomorrow. But for now,
unfortunately, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. You know I love you. I'm legally obligated to love you. You're married to my best friend. The jury will love to have you. Everyone else, pack up your stuff. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.